A and S.
The inaugural Eagan Award goes to Charles Eagan.
I imagine Charles Eagan winning the first Eagan, an award for exceptional individuals who pour themselves into making those around them better. I imagine he blushes at having won yet again before he runs to the podium and points out the good work of every person nominated. Charles is that kind of human who wants to widen the spotlight so that more good is realized and as many students, faculty, and staff feel cared for as possible. Charles has won just about every employee award on the Boulder campus. And while the Eagan is not real yet, I imagine the naming is just on the horizon.
Yeah! Set, go! We are here! We are clear! We will stand! We are here!
I can't imagine the planet without Charles, the activist who has spent much of his career pursuing and advocating for social changes that make the places he lives more just and equitable. Whether as a data analyst, youth coordinator, activist with Amnesty International, or now as an academic advisor, Charles has lived with a stunning intentionality, sense of purpose, and energy that I could not fathom until I had the privilege of speaking with this astounding human, face to face. On the Ampersand, we call this bringing together of the impossible the alchemy of anding. Together, we'll hear stories of humans who imagine and create by colliding their interests. Rather than thinking of and as a simple conjunction in that conjunction-junction kind of way, we will hear stories of people who see and as a verb, a way to speak the beautiful when you intentionally let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. As St. Mary Oliver asks, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Oh, I love this question. When I'm mothering, creating, and collaborating, it reminds me to replace a singular idea of what I think I should become with a full sensory verb about experiencing. I'm Erica Randall. And this is Charles Eagan on the Ampersand.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm one of the firm believers of like, it's not people. It's karaoke. One isn't about singing good. You're there to have freaking fun. Okay. Two, everyone has a song that works for them, and it doesn't matter what that song is. You just do it because you think it's either fun or you think it plays into your strengths.
I kind of think Air Supply, the drama for me. Mm-hmm. That's my strength.
Exactly. Yeah. So something like
fast.
Air Supply.
And something really fast and really dramatic.
Probably get some Lin-Manuel Miranda in there for you too.
We could definitely do that. Okay, I started listening to your favorite musical that you're listening to on repeat right now.
Yes, Bear Pop Opera. Yes.
Okay, Bear Pop Opera. First of all, when you said it, I was like, Bear Pop Opera. What's a Bear Pop Opera? I had Bear Pop Opera. I had no idea what you were talking about. And then I started listening to it and I was like, oh, I know all the words because I'm Catholic. And I was just immediately I knew all the words to everything because raised Catholic. Yep. The part of a lifetime.
Oh, yeah. That had to hit.
Why did you do that to me, Charles?
I'm sorry. But it's good, right?
Oh, it's real good.
They just nailed what it's like to be, like, not necessarily even a closeted queer, but someone who just can't.
They just can't.
Yeah. Based on their living environment. Like, it's rough. And wanting to so bad and being frustrated that nobody else wants that.
Right. And then realizing that, like, you think you're totally alone.
Yeah.
But you're not.
You're not alone. No.
You're not alone. I love a rock opera.
Me too.
I love a rock musical.
Yeah.
I kind of do love it. I mean, we were talking about Rent and how much we love it. And again, for me, that show was like queerness with the volume just cranked.
100%.
And then people who identified not as queer. Mm-hmm.
Rocking out to it too. I know. Talk about like looping people in. Yeah. Man, I'm trying to think of what it is. I mean, my immediate thought is, before I knew I was trans, I knew I was queer. Yeah. And so my first girlfriend introduced me to the movie version of Rent, which it's funny because I had seen musicals before. I just didn't associate it in my brain. But for me, they became this awakening of like, this is who I can be, just because I was like brave enough to actually touch her hand. You know what I mean? During the movie, I was 14 years old.
Oh my God, squish.
Yeah, I was just a little baby. And I'm glad I had no sense of consequence because I was making some pretty reckless choices, but
You were reckless?
reckless in terms of like, I was not at all interested in hiding. So
Which is
like,
reckless.
it is reckless at that time.
So once
yeah.
you decided you were coming out as queer, you were coming.
Yeah, there was no stopping it. It was happening. Everyone was going to have to deal with it. And deal with it. They did to mixed results. Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's part of it is like, of
But
course.
you hand touched what song?
Her favorite song was One Song Glory.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was a good one. But
I can't even listen to that song without crying.
No, it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah. So musical. But you weren't theater before you were queer, before you were trans.
No, although, like I mentioned in our conversation earlier, my father is very pro theater. Yeah. Like we would go to Stratford, Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Every summer. Yeah, it was awesome.
So theater was part of your life.
Yeah, and I think I just hadn't made the click that wasn't like what other people did, weirdly. Like, oh, this is just, of course, this is a normal thing.
So you with your dad and who else would get in the car and drive from Michigan all the way up?
Not too far of a drive from where we were, I think.
I mean, it's still hours.
It's like 3 hours, I want to say, at least.
At least.
But yeah, it was me, my dad, my older sister, my younger sister, and my little brother. Okay. And we would all truck up there. We would either camp out and then go into Stratford proper, or sometimes...
I love that you were like Shakespeare camping.
Yeah, that's Bill. That's my dad, 100%. Okay. Yeah. Shakespeare camping, or occasionally when he was able to work remotely, he would get us one of those like loft hotels in Stratford, and we were like, bougie, oh my God. So bougie. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great time.
They were great times. And nobody fought in the car. Did you talk about the plays on the way back? Everybody fought in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone fought in the car.
Were you the middle person?
Oh gosh. I've always been the biggest Eagan kid. Okay. So, but weirdly, also, I don't want to say the most demure. I did sit in the middle seat more often than not because I did not advocate for myself.
But were you emotionally in the middle is what I love that you went literally to the car. What kind of car were you just in your brain?
A Volvo.
Yeah, you were in a Volvo. Okay. Yeah. And so, but emotionally, if there was fighting in your family, were you the translator also?
Oh, 100%. Yes. Yeah. Because similar to like how when I knew I was gay, I was like, and it's happening. There's no stopping this. I've always admired my little sister because when she knows that something is wrong or like that, like something needs to be corrected, she's just like, nope, we're fixing this right now.
Is that an Eagan trait?
No.
No.
I don't know where she got that from, actually, come to think of it, but I admire the hell out of it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Did dad and theater and that connection help you as you had to talk to dad about all the comings out?
I would say so. And I'm extremely lucky because my dad...
And there's a ton of or at least cross-dressing and change dressing.
Oh, yeah. In Shakespeare?
In Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah. It's delightful. It's once I like that clicked for me, I was just like, I knew I loved this for a freaking reason. It's amazing. But yeah, no, I got extremely lucky because every time I had to come up multiple times because of multiple different identities, he sort of just like, okay. And then he would go read a book about it or something. And so I've been very lucky with my dad. He was extremely, extremely good. And that theater background, I can guarantee that definitely had to have helped him as well.
This is a Viola situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just doing 12th night.
Yeah, we're just doing 12th night, Dad. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You know all about this. Like, this is typical. And he's like, okay.
I love the breath, the way you change. Like, that's, you're impersonating, you're totally embodying your dad right now.
Oh, yeah. Just the quick inhale and like a little tense. Yep. And it's like, all right, let it go. And we're just going to keep moving forward.
That's so amazing, though.
Yeah.
That's super lucky.
I agree. Yeah.
Super lucky. That's so good.
Yeah.
And the fact that you had both the strength in your knowing. I love that. I love that you were just doing it. And your desire to make sure that conversation stayed open.
Yeah.
So this skill that has been built and been building for, it feels like maybe lifetimes with you, if you believe in that business, but lifetimes across this one lifetime even, this has perfectly trained you to be the award-winningest academic advisor in the history of the universe. Yeah. And so academic advising is something that I think is absolutely critical to how a student sees themselves, right? And you have to see, you have kind of some records.
I actually have it.
Oh my gosh,
Kate sent me the data.
Okay,
let me see if I can pull it up.
I actually asked for the data on Charles.
This past year, I facilitated 906 student meetings. That includes individual appointments and drop-ins. Okay. And then there's also a small handful of group advising sessions that we did, those never took off as much as we wanted them to. But yeah, so that's that's the big data point. And then
906.
906, yeah.
That's a lot of students to talk to.
Yeah. Drop-ins, I think, is, if you want the specific...
I do. I want all the data, Charles. I'm very data-driven.
This is maybe going to make you laugh. I'm not sure. But one-on-one appointments, which I have 30-minute options and 45-minute options.
Everyone wants 45 with Charles.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fun. I like it. 434 of those.
Yeah.
Drop-ins were 456 drop-in appointments. So I saw more students in drop-ins than I did my individual one-on-one appointments.
Okay, so how do you draw boundaries with students? Because you're helping them to a point. There was something that I think Shayna said yesterday, or I can't try harder than you.
Yeah, I can't try harder than you. I can't care more than you do.
I can't care more than you do. Do you is that like on a Post-it note on your desk? Do you have that as one of your tattoos?
I do have a Post-it note on my desk, but for me, it's the other direction of like, oh, are you having a big emotion? How do we resettle? But no, how do I draw boundaries? One, I worked in housing for a very long time. And with housing, it's very hard to have those boundaries. Once I got into a position where I could have them, I was like, great, the laptop is closed at 5. Yes. I'm sorry, it is done. Yes. And over the years of working both in housing and in nonprofit and growing up and all that stuff, I feel like I've had to help others navigate lots of really intense emotions and experiences. So I've gotten very adept of like feeling it with them without actually letting it into my core. There's this like little protective force field where it's like, I'm definitely in it with you, but I can't take on everything. Otherwise, I'm not going to be effective in helping you. That's
right. I also think that there is really something powerful about making offerings to students where you bring in just enough of your humanity, not to overshare, not to try to become friends, but to let them know that you're a human. And so I try to do that with my students as well. And that has also led me to have a lot of students who come out to me.
Yeah.
Is that an experience that's true?
100%. Yeah. Especially in housing too. I mean, if you were to go in my office for academic advising, you'd see a lot of different art out there. It's actually mostly from my friends or from artists that I appreciate. But the point of the art is like, one, it shows like the things that I care about. And sometimes that's a really quick launching point of like, you like Adventure Time? I like Adventure Time. Other times it's a moment of like, oh, we clearly share an identity with this character. So you and I are going to talk about that shared identity. And aside from the art, like I have a lot of books that I encourage my students to read if they want to, a lot of comics, and almost all of them honestly are related to different facets of identity, because that's one of my nerd areas in education is I really like identity development. I think it's really cool.
And do you kind of love when they're like scanning them and then they go, this
one.
And you're like, you.
Yep. The scan has been completed and I know exactly where to start on this, so you feel safer talking to me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really handy. The environment is huge, I think. And in housing, there were so many instances where, I can think of one in particular. I had a student who just, like a walnut, just could not crack her open. She was going through something really intense. And one day when I'm meeting with her, because it had been multiple meetings, she was dressed up because she was going to go to an anime convention. And I was like, I got it. And I walk out. I come back with like just a big old box of different types of comic books that I had. And I was like, let's just, I know we were going to talk about this. Let's just take a second to read a little bit together. And we just hung out and we read, and she went through a couple books. And at the end of it, she was able to tell me like, I am not doing okay. She just needed like that one step of like, this isn't an authority position thing. It's not you're in trouble. It's like, I'm concerned about you. Let's just be people for a second. And
I see you.
Yeah, I see you. It's like, you care about this. I care about this. I care. Therefore, I care about you. And that opened that door so we could get her help so she could start seeing a therapist. And like, it was, I don't want to say like a light switch because we all know therapy takes a lot of time, but like the difference between her before we had that shared moment and after was just unreal. And I was just like, I fucking did it.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one that you just can't?
Yeah, it's really...
Does it break your heart?
Yeah, and it's frustrating, to be very honest. Yeah. It's almost always with someone who I can't seem to get them to care.
Yeah. What else do we need more of?
Oh boy, singing opportunities.
Yeah, we need more singing opportunities. Hey, casting directors out there.
Don't take this as my audition tape for the record. I will properly prepare for you. But yeah, so what else do we need more of? I think a lot more patience. And I'm sure this has been sung 1,000 times, but a lot more empathy and being able to just toss yourself into whatever somebody else is feeling, especially when there's someone you don't like or they're saying something you don't like. Now, there's a limit to that. Like, it becomes
So then we need more patience for reals.
Yeah, for reals.
Yeah.
But
there's a limit.
There's a limit, yeah. And I'm a true believer that for true change to happen with an individual, they need to experience both conflict and tension because that's natural. And you should know that, like, some of these things are inherently wrong, right? Like, there's consequences to your actions. And then 2, you need to have a reason to want to change other than the negative aspects, because that's not, like, if you think of someone goes up to you and says, like, you freaking stink, I don't like anything you're saying. It's like, what's your first reaction going to be? It's going to be to push back.
Screw you.
Yeah. It's sort of, I can remember a time in my life too where I, instead of reacting with compassion, I suppose, I definitely was reacting with anger. And weirdly, it was in like the middle of that development for me. So I started out being kind of chill and empathetic. Then I got real mad and I was like, never mind, I'm going back up.
Yeah.
So it's I guess it was natural for me, but I just found it was, once I locked into it, it's just been such more of an effective tool for communication. Yeah. I remember when I was in undergrad and grad school and even in my workplace, I started transitioning. And so in undergrad, I hadn't taken any new hormones yet. I hadn't had any surgeries. So it was very obvious that I was transgender. And then as I started to pass more and more, I made it a point not to change certain other things about myself. Like my legal name, I probably will never change that because it forces people I work with
to reconcile.
Yeah, to be like, okay, you go by this name, but your legal name is this. And so just like a little reminder, like the people like us are in the world. And thankfully
hold that as part of a pivot for you, like a political pivot in a way.
It is, yeah. And thankfully, because I think that my birth name is pretty, so I don't really mind terribly if it pops up.
Like, good job, parents, on that birth name.
Yeah, it was a pretty one. But I use it as that tool of like, remember, like, you just don't know who's out there, who you're going to be talking to. So here's that gentle reminder for you.
And that gentle reminder for that person isn't a hard memory for you?
Not really. I mean, not over the years. I think when I was younger and I was first transitioning, it felt like a lot, but I'm 32 now and I've been doing this for over a decade. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I know I've got this, honestly, I've got the script of, okay, I know this person is well-intentioned. I know how they are going to respond positively to this and want to engage and learn more. And I also know myself of like, I can handle this up to X, Y, and Z point. And once I reach that point, I'm like, that's really cool. And here's where you can learn more about that. I have to disengage. Otherwise, I then become a problem for their learning, where I'm either enabling them to ask really inappropriate questions and making them think it's okay to just do that for anyone, when it's like, you're lucky I'm going this far.
You're lucky that I'm me.
Yeah, you're lucky. This could be anyone else, and they would be really upset. Yes. Rightfully so. Yes. So I'm either enabling them, or then that anger switch flips, because still have it, obviously. And then they're like, oh, yeah, you were so, like, trans people are so sensitive, and da-da-da-da. It's like,
right,
no,
and
no,
then
no,
you
no.
become this emblem of all the... Right. Which is the last thing that anyone wants to be.
Yeah. So I've got, thankfully, the patience and the skill set to make that work. So I try to use it to the community's advantage.
Yeah. That's so, it's kind of exquisite, actually. It's time for the quick and dirty, my friend.
Okay.
The quick and dirty is a game where I ask you questions. You must answer. You have to be quick. Okay. You don't have to be dirty. You've got to have "and" in there. And it could be like pander, or it can be like panda bears and polar bears. Okay. I said pander bears.
Pander bears.
That was funny. Okay, ready? Yes. You said you're going to go play D&D after this. D&D name? Does it have "and" in it? If not, then multiple D&D names that you use. Character names. Can you share them on the air?
Yes. Oh, you can definitely share character names in the air. Okay. So there was Scance Oot and Toe Wyvernson.
Toe Wyvernson. What were you?
So Scance Oot was a salamander creature, giant, like the blind ones that you find under the water. Yeah. If I remember, she's a character that I'm retiring. She
She's worked hard.
She's worked really hard. And she is actually canonically blind, and that gave her blind sense. So like, I love incorporating different types of ability in my characters because there's so much push and pull. Anyway, so she was a ranger. I'm
half paladin and half elf based on my...
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Elfsworth.
Elfsworth.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Scans Oot. Then Toe Wyvernson.
Toe
Wyvernson is my darling baby. She's also retired. She had an amazing life. She has an amazing wife. She is probably a gentle badass. Her main thing, she's an Aarakocra, which is a bird person, and a sorcerer. And she was all about trying to find the evolutionary connection between dragons and birds.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say dungeons.
Dragons and dungeons. There's an evolutionary connection there. And that was her big...
Dragons
big,
and birds. Yeah. Do you miss your characters when they're gone?
I really do. I still think about Toe, especially she was part of one of my favorite campaigns where the DM, it was a moment where they won my trust entirely because they wove a story so beautiful and avoided so many terrible, it was a story of two queens. And there were moments where it was like, are we going to have the lesbian death trope? I'm so sick of that. I don't want to do it. And and bless his heart, because he's like a straight cis dude. He just knew exactly what to do. He put it together. They were amazing. So I'll always play with that guy if he lets me.
Oh, I love that DM. Okay, 2 student phrases that when said together set off alarm bells for you that make you go, oh, I need to get some extra supports.
Extra supports. Will I graduate? I suppose.
Especially in year 4.
Especially in year 4. And then I suppose the second one would be my professor doesn't like me. Because there's always a lot more to dig into there on multiple levels.
We're going to save that for another episode. Okay, movie scenes that without fail bring tears to your eyes.
Can I do cartoons instead?
Yes.
Okay, so Steven Universe, the episode Rose's Scabbard, when Pearl is replaying her moment with Rose, who is Steven's mom, and that's where she says, why would I ever want to be anywhere without you? And then the sort of image vanishes and she's like, now you're gone. And I don't know what to do with myself. And Steven gives her a hug from behind, and it's really sweet. But every time it just gets my tear ducts really get activated because I'm like, that's so true. Grief is so powerful, and it's so long lasting, and you don't realize all the stupid stuff you do when you're in the throes of it, like treating a child like a therapist, for example, or like making choices that put you or others at risk just because you're feeling so much or not enough. It's a lot.
It's a lot. I asked for 2, but that's a good one.
Okay, I have a second one lined up if you want it.
Do it. I'm ready.
The other one is probably with another Steven Universe one. I watch other shows, I promise.
Okay, but I need to watch Steven Universe, apparently.
It's a good one. I like it. But it's where Ruby and Sapphire, they're 2 characters.
Are they all jewel names?
They are all jewel names.
Okay, I'm with it.
So in Steven Universe, there's a thing called fusion. Yeah. And if you want to really connect with someone and become a bigger, better version of yourself.
Yes, I do.
You fuse. Yes. And so you become another person.
I sign up for that.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's Ruby and Sapphire. They fuse together to become Garnet. It's this whole big secret thing of Garnet. You don't know Ruby and Sapphire until eventually they split at one point. And that splitting episode always brings tears to my eyes because it's not... Thankfully, it's short lasting, and that's why it brings tears to my heart is they split because they're having a disagreement and they can't figure it out. So they need time apart. And then they come back together after having that time apart. And they're like...
I refuse to stay away from you.
Kind of, yeah. They make each other laugh, which is the thing that I really appreciate is they had their moment, they talked, they were frustrated with each other, they figured it out, they apologized, and then they had a moment of joy. And I was just like, that's how it goes.
And that was it when that spark of joy came, that's when the tears
when
go.
the spark of joy happens, I'm just like, that's how it is. You can have big feelings, you can have conflict, and then when you can laugh with each other again, that's real repair, in my opinion.
Okay, there's an Ander out there that you look up to.
Can you define ander? Because I can think of like...
I love that. Ander is someone who is makes something new or kind of some kind of alchemic, energetic something by combining multiple interests and things that they care about, like the way that you think about psychology and data and storytelling. That's how you and. Yeah. Do you have an ander in your life or in the world?
This is going to be a silly answer, but I really like Natalie Naudis.
Okay, don't know.
She is a voice performer. She reads audiobooks, but she also writes. And I really admire how she runs an Instagram. You get to just see like how she incorporates so many different things into her life. Like she's an avid gardener, she's a parent, she's a partner.
Ander.
And yeah, she's an ander. And she does all these amazing things and has so much talent and in every different facet from what the brief bits that I can see on Instagram.
We haven't had lunch with her.
No, I would love to. Natalie, if you're out there, but...
Natalie, we're going to send this episode right to you, and I'm going to need a lunch date in Boulder. Do you know where Natalie lives?
I don't.
Because I've had guests on here with satellites.
Satellites?
And they know how to find locations.
Oh, scary. No, I don't know where Natalie lives to my knowledge, so...
We're not going to use the satellites for water for locating Natalie. Don't worry. Okay. She'll be safe. But we would like to run into her at a Whole Foods by the berries and then go, Natalie?
Yeah. The moment, it's you.
It's you. And then you're in your own musical. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we kind of already talked about this, but I really need to know the 2 musicals that you really want to be in.
The 2 musicals that I really want to be in. Of course, Les Mis, because I want to be Eponine, because who doesn't want to be Eponine in that musical? Number 2... I love and hate this musical so much, but I would love to be in The Last 5 Years.
I don't know that one.
I fondly call it Divorce the Musical.
Oh, God.
It's where one character, it's an interesting like time exploration because one character starts at the beginning of their relationship and you get to hear as it builds up for them. One starts at the end and they go in reverse.
Oh, God.
And then the songs meet in the middle and then they go their different ways again. It's pretty cool for that reason. Yeah. There's a lot of songs in there that I enjoy singing. It's not my usual go-to because I'm a person who I want to harmonize. So like being in the chorus would be more fun for me, to be honest.
You really want to be in the chorus? Yeah. That actually fits so much with your human self.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because you were talking about harmony, like how do you build harmony?
Yeah.
And that's where you'd want to be.
Yeah, the chorus. Or at the very least, if I was a named character, someone who always had a partner to sing with, like the duets, trios, all those.
All of those. Okay, now you're gonna give a send off. Okay. Maybe for a Mighty Quest, maybe to a graduating senior who had to really work for it. And it starts with and may you and I hope that and will and finish it off. Take us out.
All 4 of those.
Any of them. You can start with and then say all the things you would offer to this person or this group of people that you are sending off into their next.
Okay. All right. And remember, life doesn't stop. There's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, but at the end of the day, there's always going to be a path forward. So please don't be afraid when things get hard. Just remember that everything takes time, and one way or the other, you're making it out the other end.
That was Charles Eagan, Senior Academic Advisor in the College of Arts and Sciences and avid role player in life on The Ampersand. The Ampersand is a production of the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Colorado Boulder. It is written and produced by me, Erica Randall, and Tim Grassley. If there are people you'd like us to interview on The Ampersand, do please email us at asinfo@colorado.edu. Our theme music was composed and performed by Nelson Walker, and the episodes are recorded at Interplay Recording in Boulder, Colorado. I'm Erica Randall, and this is The Ampersand.